Okay, so I completely stuffed up all the color thing on the last video. I wasn't thinking about something else. Yeah, so instead of setting the whole color, all I should be doing is setting the alpha channel. Okay, so we should just be setting the alpha channel, not the whole colors. Like I was trying to do before, that was just silly. Okay, so let's check if that compiles out. Also, if these things are in your way, you don't like them there, you can always fade the material out. Get rid of it. Let's just do a test, even if I leave it halfway. I hit play. Okay, look, it hasn't set the alpha. Why hasn't it set the alpha? Fade object material color.alpha. Is this even running? Fade object. Am I looking at the wrong one? I think I am looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at the project. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's half one. We hit play. The alpha's fully off. Just me going mad as usual. Okay, so what I want now is when you die, go to this scene, but I want to have the full screen static effect on there first. Okay, so we have the full screen static effect, then we show the monster for a second, and then we fade out the static effect, and then we let everything run like normal. So we need to create a couple more objects. I need to disable that script too. Alright, we need to create a whole new script for this scene lose. Another script, scene lose effect. And I'm just going to put that on the title. Let's save the scene. Scene lose effect. Now, everything's going to run off a timer. So, I'm still going to have the fade out object. Let's just do the static object as a separate thing. Public as a separate plane, doing exactly the same thing. Static object type. Let's just typecast it to the renderer like we did before, and then let's just do all this stuff if we don't have it. Let's just tell ourselves we don't have it. If no static object, no static object was in the inspector, find the static object. Did I call it that? No, I haven't. Static object. Right. And what's today's date? 13. Lucky 13. Huh? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the static object. So let's duplicate this. It's got no. Okay, this one will be the static object. Now we need the static material on that. Save that scene before I go too far. Check that that gets loaded. Static object, great. Okay, so what we're going to do at the start is the renderer material color alpha channel is going to equal 1.1, 1.0, so 1 fully, because we want it to be full screen static effect when we come into the lose. Let's hit play. And we have a full screen static. Now we need to animate that like we did before. I've written a whole function that does that. Where is that? On the player health modifiers the static. Yep, offset main texture right here. So let's just use that one. And let's just have that static going the whole time. So let's test that out now. Static is not, it's the static render. Static render is the static object. So I've changed my naming conventions. But yeah, it is a static render, I should have called it that. So now we've got animated static. Now we just need to make the monster pop through and then fade that out to the menu options here. Okay, so this is a bit tricky because we've got this and then we've got this. That's no scaling on that. So there's no scaling on the camera. Can we put the object on the camera and just transform its position locally? Okay, so room. Models, golem. Can I put the camera as a child of the camera? Okay, now let's zero out his rotations. I want him 180 to the camera. He's down there. 0, 0, okay. And what if I make that 2? So that's too high in there. They come through like that. Does it play? Yeah, that static screen is way too close. That's kind of cool, but what if I set his rotation down a little bit? It's still, it's all way too close. Okay. So let's do all these other things and get all these other things and turn them off. Main menu, type renderer. I'm just going to get all these renderers and disable them and enable them when I've finished. Options. Quick in there too, isn't there? And then a label. Title. Okay, so let's go through all these things. Got enabled equals false. I'm gonna have to find all these game objects too, so people aren't breaking. What I'm doing is I'm getting all the objects that are in the scene already. All this other stuff, lost your mind, this, that, the other. It's coming out of the fade object. Okay, so all these menu items I'm going to make not visible. Okay, so all those 4 words there, we're going to make them not visible. Then I can run this static screen further back and have them come through a realistic size like that. I might even just literally move the static screen forward and back. After the effect, I'm going to get rid of the model and bring back the menu choices. And that's what's happening right here, right now. So, gosh, I have to do this for all of them, seriously. Button, and we're getting the renderers. Yep, so all this, no, sassy, what happened there? No button, main menu. Alright. Options, quick, title. Options. Quit. Title. That's just called title, isn't it? So all those should find themselves and turn themselves off. Let's check that. Let's check the time again, see if all those populate. Okay, so they've all populated and they're all not on the screen. So the static object can move right back. Let's scale that up actually. We're going to be moving that. That's what's going to happen. It's just going to go bleh. Thinking. Alright, so those objects are disabled. I could put all that in a function. Show menu items, and let's pass in a boolean, because then I can send them all off to false and true, all in the one. So let's take all this, cut that, paste it there, equals the boolean. Just calling one function, I can turn all of these on or off just by calling one function. Okay, from there, false. And see what's happening? Show menu items false. So I pass false to show menu items. The button main menu enabled false. False. They're all going to become false. If I set true, it's going to make them all true. It's going to bring them all back again. There is a problem where if you click on one of these things, it could take you through. I have to disable the colliders as well. Okay, disable the collider. Change the collider state also. So those three have colliders. Renderer game object dot collider enabled. Active. Enabled, so it does have an enable. I need just all that stuff. Okay, so that should activate and deactivate the colliders too, so that you can't accidentally click it. So let's check on one of those. We've got the collider, and we've got the renderer. Hit play. Okay, it has no collider, it has no renderer, so we shouldn't be able to click. Oops. I'm not going to be able to click anywhere and click on those buttons. Okay, that's step one. Still not getting there, am I? That's just lining all the objects up, offsetting the main texture. Now I need to run a timer to do that effect. Let's get the static object happening, just so I can get a warp space sense of all this thing. Camera, the guy is looking like a good size there. Probably want to move him closer. If I start the static screen there, just double everything. Okay, so if I start the static screen there, save the scene. So menu items go away, and then the golem gets about there and then disappear. But I want to do it the other way, like I said. So I want to move the static backwards. That's a pretty cool effect to do. Okay, I have two choices. I'm just umming and ahhing on what I want to do. Looks like he's coming towards you if you do that. What I kind of want his head to pop out first. So 2 degrees. Okay, let's set him on 2 degrees. Oh, and his chin's already poking through. Static object. If I can turn that right up, you'll see. Chin's poking through. Alright, somewhere around about there. Save the scene. So all I do now is run a timer and move him forward, then make him and the static disappear. Alright, I'll just record that in another video.